This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. Okay, I wanted to do a video today because it's, by the time you're watching this, it'll be my birthday and I'll be 35 years old, and that's halfway to 70. So that's kind of a thing, right? So, I don't know. Anyway, so, happy birthday. I don't know what I'll be doing. Probably playing guitar and making videos about stuff. Anyway, so, I think I like to kind of talk about and play guitars more than talk about them, but talk about them is necessary in order to get people to watch my guitar playing, as it happens. And today's video, as it is imaginatively titled, is guitars that kind of surprised me, the guitars that have surprised me over maybe some of the years, because obviously I've played a lot of guitars of my buddies and stuff like that. Obviously, if you're familiar with the stuff that I play, most of all, things like a Stratocaster, a Telecaster, to some extent like a Les Paul, those kind of guitars I'm fairly, you know, okay with and sort of know roughly what to expect. But there are a bunch of guitars, and I don't know if you're the same, but that you kind of have a feeling about what they're going to be like, and then sometimes it turns out you're wrong. And there is actually a theme for all three of these guitars, so that's why I thought I'd probably wrap it up in a little video and talk about it. The first one for me is one that I featured on the channel quite a bit and kind of tried to document as fairly as I could, because at the outset from PRS, the DGT SE, I guess we knew what to expect at the time from having seen what folks were saying about the Silver Sky SE, like they're, you know, as good as a core model and all that sort of stuff, that you kind of feel, is that really true? Yeah, so the Silver Sky SE was pretty good, and especially now that it's kind of closer to sort of £600 in the UK a lot of the time, I think for that money it's a really decent guitar. The DGT SE, I think when it first came out, clocked in at £1,049. I bought mine from Peach. At the time, my thinking was more or less that it would be tough for it to impress me at that kind of money. But it really did. So this was one guitar that definitely surprised me, and I was sort of blown away by the playability of it. I really like the sounds out of these pickups and the coil split. I was looking at the PRS Guitar Owners Club, and it seems to me that no one hates PRS guitars more than PRS owners. So because there was that recent kind of S2 upgrade to the USA pickups, there was the owner of Guitar Bomb and Gear News, Jeff Stone, kind of posted a link to his article, and I kind of asked what was in there before, and you know, people answered like junk and crap. Actually, these pickups are pretty decent, I think. What happens with these that I really like is that as you back off the volume, you still get really kind of crisp, clear stuff. I think that is because there's a treble bleed. So PRS DGT SE, I've done other demos on it, but I actually preferred this to my experience that I had with the actual core model DGT that I had, a wood library. I had it for about a year, played it very few times. It kind of didn't feel very me. This, slightly more reasonably priced, still, you know, about the top of the sort of budget that you'd want to pay for an Indonesian guitar, but really well made. I can't really find any flaws on it. Sounds great, plays great, is great. So that's one of them. Next one for me belonged to a mate of mine, Tony, from up the road. I haven't seen him in a while. We need to get together. But the Ibanez JS1200, and this for some reason sticks in my head. I was quite a big Joe Satriani fan growing up, but to me, I don't know, there's just something about the shape of it kind of looked a little bit frumpy to me. And nowadays, I would have assumed that for me, that guitar wouldn't be particularly spec'd close to anything that I'd like. Turns out I was quite wrong on that. It's actually not worlds away from like there's the Fender Ultra kind of stuff, you know, where they've got some of the more modern kind of appointments on a Strat. I'm thinking specifically of the guitar that Jeff Beck had the prototype of. But in any case, that guitar actually played fantastically well. I have really fond memories of that as a guitar. And another thing, that had a really, really usable treble bleed on it. And another thing, all three of these guitars that I'm going to talk about are actually humbucking guitars. And I don't normally like humbuckers, but the PRS with a split, the Ibanez JS1200 had a split as well. And I think sort of a PAF style neck, is it the Fred, and the PAF maybe in the bridge. Anyway, some decent DiMarzio pickups in there, and a really usable treble bleed, a really slinky feeling neck, kind of a modern Strat-ish feel. But yeah, to me it was a really well spec guitar and not kind of flashy looking. And at the time I thought about it as being sort of like the antithesis of the Gem. Obviously the Ibanez Gem is the thing that gets like touted as being really revolutionary, whereas I actually think that the Satriani model was a little bit more versatile, not so flashy, but actually could totally be like a decent gigging instrument for the function player and that sort of thing. And the Candy Apple Red, I think it is, actually looked pretty decent in person. So that one, because I wouldn't have expected that to be a guitar that I really liked either. And then topping the list is this monstrosity, which I did a video on yesterday, which to me Doesn't hit any of my like aesthetic interests in an instrument, but I can't really argue with how this guitar plays. The Parker NiteFly M, this is called, has a piezo bridge, so kind of wacky futuristic electronics at the time. A really nice floating trem, really stable, stainless steel frets, a carbon fiber neck, which you know, even these days, I did that demo for Enya, not the person, the brand, on a carbon fiber guitar, and I've had actually one other company email me asking if I'd check out some of their carbon fiber instruments. I've not said yes to that though, but something about this guitar actually in the hands feels pretty fantastic, and it plays pretty fantastically as well. It, to me, and I think I said this in the video, kind of feels like what I'd imagine a Strandberg should feel like to play, in terms of being really slinky, really futuristic. This has Damasio, Air Norton and Tone Zone, so really pretty decent pickups. Same combination that John Petrucci used to use in his Ibanez's, I think. As well as, again, a really decent coil split and a treble bleed. And so this has made me think that in a humbucking guitar, maybe the thing that would make those guitars work better for me, even in like a more conventional situation, the guitars, because I'm more of a single coil kind of guy, maybe a humbucking guitar with a coil split and a treble bleed is the way to go, is kind of what this has taught me, because there is something about that configuration that really works quite well for me. Anyway, if you've got your favorite kind of guitars that surprised you, please feel free to drop them in the comments if you feel like doing so. Yeah, I just wanted to make a little video on that because it's my birthday. I'm allowed to, aren't I, if I want to. And thank you very much for stopping by and checking out the channel every now and then. I know I upload a lot of videos. It's kind of fun to play guitar and get to play guitar. I hope some of you get a little bit of something out of it. Sometimes I do hear from you guys, sometimes saying, you know, nice things, so that's kind of cool. If you've got requests for videos, topics and stuff, I have been doing a few more teaching-y videos. Do feel free to drop me an email, or on Patreon, you could send me a message there. I am trying to do stuff that will help you guys